Hi everyone, you're listening to Pop Culture with Tatiana. This is the discussion that will make you feel like you are gossiping with your besties in your living room. Subscribe and join me and my many guests.
I heard it on Tatiana's
She
podcast.
did what?
I can't
Have you heard?
You don't mean it. Hey!
We spill the tea from Lagos, Nigeria to the world. Welcome back everyone to Pop Culture with Tatiana. It is a lovely day in Lagos and today we're going to talk about the music industry, but more specifically the business of music. I'm joined today by my friend Soraya, my childhood friend. She grew up here with me in Lagos and she now lives in London where she works for the world famous music label Warner Music. Hi Soraya.
Hi, Tatiana.
Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
So I wrote an intro about Warner Music, but
Okay.
since you're here, you might as well tell everyone what is the label, what are your biggest artists, international and African.
Okay, so I work at Warner Music Group in strategy and transformation, and we are one of the big three music labels in the world, you would say. So you've got Sony, Universal, and then Warner Music. And we've got a roster of artists internationally like Cardi B, Ed Sheeran, Dua Lipa.
So Cardi B is not with Offset's label Quality Control?
No, she's with Atlantic.
Oh, okay, I thought she was with her husband's record
No,
company. Interesting.
no, exactly. And then we've got from Africa, we've got, Burna Boy, we've got CK, and another few emerging
And
talents.
whose files have you specifically worked on in your career?
I've worked mainly with CK. So when his song blew up all over the internet,
Yeah, it's okay. We can say TikTok. It's okay. It's true. I'm gonna say it the way it is. You.
I know,
You
I
might
know.
have things you can't say today, but I can say everything.
Exactly. So when his career started blowing up, he came to London, and it was obviously his first time, and I was part with him on the journey, on his whole promo team and core team, and then obviously worked with him as we were developing his career.
How does it work for African artists to go from Nigeria or wherever country they're from in Africa to an international huge music label like Warner Music?
It's quite a big deal, right?
Yeah, it's huge.
Excitement, but also, I guess, pressure because you're up against such big names, and then, you level up to that to some extent, but then you got to frame your mind and level yourself up to your home country and the current artists you're competing with, because as you know, Afrobeats is still not, it's getting more popular, and it's,
Yeah.
translating to different markets now and
So
gaining momentum.
I'm happy you said that because Afrobeats is becoming huge. So I was wondering if the international labels now seek out African artists or do African artists seek out international labels?
I think it works both ways, but I think now in the music industry, and if you look at a lot of market research and data coming up, you can see there's a trend like growing with Afrobeats in general. And a lot of the, labels are kind of playing catch up because they didn't really have an established, presence across Africa. And, due to platforms like TikTok and collaborations and some artists obviously being further in their careers like Wizkid and, Burna Boy, who've had opportunities to meet international artists and feature with them, it's obviously increasingly becoming more important to like invest in the talent here, if that comes from like partnering, with local labels or having some M&A activity, and obviously also building a presence like in the country, setting up a base and looking for talent and seeing how you can grow that in the home market and then take it across.
Because it's pretty cool. Like I've noticed, and I'm sure you guys have noticed, how so many African artists are now collaborating with Western artists.
Yes.
I mean, recently we have Rema's remix of Calm Down with Selena Gomez. We have famously Ed Sheeran collaborating on
He's
Peru.
everywhere, isn't
Yeah,
he?
he is everywhere. It's like
He's the go-to.
He
It's
is the go-to.
getting a bit annoying, let's be honest. It's like,
But
I think even now when it comes across in like potential remixes and it's like Ed Sheeran, everyone's
oh,
a
it's Ed
bit
Sheeran
like,
again.
it's like, okay, it might, hit the numbers, right?
And it does. It does. hit the
probably does,
numbers.
but like I'm sure a lot of like, Afrobeats artists are also thinking I'd like to collaborate with someone,
someone
else.
else.
Everyone's done that.
But it makes them break through to the US market, which is
Definitely.
huge.
Which is the biggest market, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned in my previous episode that Wizkid and Tems are the only two African artists that have had number one records,
Hmm.
but it's been features One Dance with Drake, Wizkid and Drake,
And then Justin
and Wait
Bieber.
for You, Thames and with Drake and well, that's it. A
Exactly.
lot of Drake as well.
A
I've
lot
just
of Drake.
mentioned.
He's everywhere too.
I just
He's
said Drake a
been
lot.
he's been there a long time ago. If you look at his album where he had like passion fruit, was it passion fruit?
Yes.
Those songs,
Yes,
he
yes.
always had a bit of like Afro beats to it and always kind of
Yeah.
sonically going to that direction, but he's doing it in a more strategic way, I would say.
I had a story. I was going to ask her about Drake, but since we mentioned it now, let me just segue a little bit and we'll get back to the music industry. Did you hear the story about
I
him using
did.
a Kim Kardashian?
I did. I wonder what EA thinks.
Yeah, must be. His mind is already running at 3,000 miles per hour. But let me tell you guys the story for those of you that have not heard. So maybe you know that Kanye West and Drake have had a feud in the past. They mostly threw jabs at each other through lyrics. Like Drake was saying that he would never wear Yeezys, and then Kanye has said some things. And do you remember when Drake, was it? No, Kanye West posted Drake's home address in Toronto,
Yes.
and it became a big deal.
But he also, the whole like Pusha T fight. That's how
And
the
the Pusha T
son
fight.
Adonis was leaked, you know?
Yes, oh my God. So basically, Drake has a son called Adonis, and the world didn't really know about him until, was it Pusha T did a song where he mentioned it?
They were doing like a diss track where
A diss track.
one did one song, one did another song, and then in his last diss, Pusha T like revealed.
And Pusha T is Kanye West's protege, one of them.
Exactly, yes.
So like he knew about it. Like there's no way that
Exactly. They're
Kanye
like-
would not have known about it.
They're like a duo, you know?
The feud has supposedly calmed down since I think November of 2021. But now it seems as though Drake is looking for trouble.
Honestly, I thought he was a certified lover boy, but it doesn't sound like it anymore.
Yeah, well, he's now certified looking for trouble. Drake was recently on a radio show where he previewed his new track, and shortly after the first verse, we hear Kim Kardashian's voice. And he basically took out a sentence she said on her reality show, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, in which she speaks about her impending divorce to Kanye. And this is the sentence: I didn't come this far just to come this far and not be happy. Remember that. So apparently he's using a sentence she used regarding her divorce to Kanye. So
That's a stab at Kanye.
it's a stab at Kanye. Like let's call a spade a spade. Let's see what happens.
I know, and they had a whole reunion show.
So from one potential beef to another, have you heard about the Bia and Burna Boy story recently?
No, I haven't.
So I don't know how, I think this is recent. So Bia did an Instagram live with Nicki Minaj.
Okay.
And Nicki Minaj asked her something about, like she compared Burna Boy, Wizkid, and Davido.
Nicki Minaj.
Nicki Minaj
Damn,
asked
she's getting
Bia
into
this.
the...
I don't know exactly what she was asking, like if who's better looking or something, but she asked Bia about these three artists. And Bia replied, I don't know what any of them look like.
Oh my God, no, she didn't.
So this angered Burna Boy, and he said in a tweet, so then Burna Boy made a tweet where he said, that babe we no know our face, don't they in my DM since 2018.
Ooh,
Basically saying that she's
burn.
been in his DMs. But he said that in 2021, so I thought that this was an old story. But then he just released a new song where he says, we're gonna blank this out, stupid said she don't know my face, come to find out she been all on my DMs. So
Shots
obviously
fired.
shots fired. Obviously he's trying to make some beef, and she replied, don't make me rap about you.
Oof.
So I think it's something
Something's
to
going
watch.
on.
Yeah, something's brewing. Storms are brewing.
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen. She might release something.
Yeah, well, Burna Boy is one of your artists, so maybe you can let me know one day what's happening with that. So back to the business of music. Soraya, recently there's been many stories of artists clashing with their labels. Now, this is territory that might make you a little bit uncomfortable, but I'm still going to mention a few stories. Very famously recently, but this has nothing to do with Warner Music, Taylor Swift wanted to cut ties with her previous label, whose executive is Scooter Braun, who represents Justin Bieber and Ariana Grande, because she claimed that now her music legacy was in the hands of someone who had bullied her in her past. So very, very long story short, there was a huge legal battle. She cut ties with Scooter and is now re-recording her old songs. so that her previous label does not profit from them. So, just in regards to that, Soraya, can you tell me how labels profit from songs by buying? Like, so this means that if Taylor Swift performs her old songs, the Scooter Braun's label will profit from them?
Yeah, because it depends who owns the songs, right?
Okay.
So when you're with a label, you don't fully own your songs. Depending on like what deal you have, being a profit share, a whole recording agreement. There's different deals when you, as an artist, when you enter into a label looking to get signed or to get into a partnership, you have different options and routes you can go through. You can decide to be distributed, so like you own most of your, and they just take a fee for distributing your music. And then when you go into recording agreement, obviously the label will own some of your songs, and they can decide kind of what to do with it, right?
So each artist has an individual contract with the label.
Yes.
Okay.
They don't all have the same deals. Every deal is different. And obviously when you go through renewal stages, they can change the deals.
Are there like obligations that a label has towards their artist or the artist has towards their labels that is universal for everyone?
To some extent, I think it depends market to market, territory to territory, and also on which type of artist you're dealing with. If it's an established artist or if it's a developing artist or if it's a...
So if it's a developing artist, how
There are some boundaries, I would say, to how much, they can offer in like margins and like marketing spends. Like there are a list of like criterias that they should tick, right?
so the label is usually under a certain type of obligation to market the artist.
Yes. I mean, you don't have the same marketing budget for any artist, right? But obviously, if you're dealing with someone huge like Dua Lipa, you can extend the marketing cost. And if like she wants it further, which maybe she wouldn't because she's that established, and she can then spend from her own, what she wants to put in. But every artist has different kind of like buckets of what budget we have for them, and that depends on their deal. And then after like 4 years or 5 years, depending how long the deal is, you go through renewal stages, and then you can obviously, discuss new terms.
Did you hear that recently Justin Bieber sold his music catalog for $200 million?
I know, everyone's doing that now.
What do you think about this? Because for me, from someone outside of the music business, I think that's ridiculous for someone like Justin Bieber, and he's
know.
selling songs that are huge.
I know.
So, Baby, Sorry, he has so many songs. What do you think of this?
As in why he did it, or like just the general trend around that? I mean, he just wanted to cash out, I guess. It came a
But do you
good
think it's a
offer.
good business idea?
I think for the company who will then own his catalog, it is
Okay, so for him,
for him, I mean, it becomes a
he's not the
question.
Beatles.
I know,
He's still
but
young.
he got a good deal, I guess, at the right time. But I guess for him, he just valued that and wanted, some more cash.
So you think it's just because he just needs
Yeah.
cash?
Not maybe because he needs cash, but like an offer came that usually you do buy those catalogs when someone's like maybe passed away, I guess.
Yes, exactly. Then okay.
But if now he's being valued this much this soon, maybe, I don't know, in a few years he won't be, or if something, God forbid, happens to him and it's just such a big number for such a young artist that he's
Yeah.
like, shit, am I going to get that again? Let me take it.
But so, according to what we previously said about Taylor Swift, this means that from here on out, when Justin Bieber performs his old songs, he won't get money from it.
No, I don't think so. Depending on actually, that's a good question. I can look into that more. But I think it depends on terms of like, what agreement they had. Maybe he has 0 point something %. But,
Because
when
there's no
someone
way-
owns your catalog, like they can do whatever they want with your music,
Because you can't have a Justin Bieber
Exactly.
concert without him doing Baby.
No, exactly. But he maybe wants to do that,
Or maybe he's
doesn't
sick of
care.
it.
It's more like he's selling more from the shows, right? Like he'll get some from the shows. He doesn't care if the song that gets streamed and stuff doesn't, come to his pocket anymore.
Yeah.
Or maybe he has more music coming up.
I hope so for him, so he can actually own some of his
Maybe-
music. Because
maybe
now
there's,
every time we listen to Sorry or Boyfriend or one of those, where it's not going to be for him.
But it's
And he's
still
so
his
young.
voice in his mind,
It's still his voice. It's still his voice. Speaking of voices, have you heard of people now using artificial intelligence to copy people's
I
voices?
have. It's everywhere, isn't it?
And how
It's fun, I think.
fun for us, but what about for
Definitely.
you, for your company?
I think obviously it's a cool feature, and it's showing how music and technology are getting combined as one, and how we can literally have Michael Jackson sing a new song now, you can repurpose the voice, right, for any like type of song or anything else beyond music
But who
too.
would own that? The person that owns his catalog or whoever made it?
I don't think anyone would own it because I think it's artificial. I don't think it would.
It's a gray
Like, I don't
area.
think they're on. Are they on even Spotify? Like, can you listen to like,
Not yet.
you know?
But what if?
Yeah. But I think because it's artificial, you know, like it's fabricated using like old.
Yeah, but what if people don't know? Like you
Yeah.
you have Dua Lipa signed to your label.
Yeah.
What if someone fakes a Dua Lipa song? Doesn't it bother you that you wouldn't get any money from it or Dua Lipa
No, of
herself?
course. But I don't think it would reach that far. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know.
I think it's fun.
We never know.
You know, I agree, but I think the way it is now, like, I don't think, yeah, it's a fun concept, but I don't see it like being a threat, right? Because like artists will still make new songs and they'll
Okay.
produce new things and you'll have new beats and new melodies and new like anthems, you know?
Okay, that's interesting because you say that you don't perceive it as a threat.
No.
I feel like it would be a threat.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll see what happens. It
Yeah.
reminds me of kind of like when LimeWire started and it
I
was a threat
know.
to the
Oh
music
my God.
industry.
Did
but
you
then
watch
it-
Spotify like Netflix?
No, but it's on
You
my
should
list.
watch it. You should so watch it. It shows you how like they went from, you know, all the LimeWire. What was the other one? There was another
Napster?
one. Napster. And from that, how they managed to create like a business out of it, right? And
Exactly. And now like we have streaming platforms which didn't exist
You
before
know?
and they're probably making even more money than they did beforehand.
they do, exactly.
Anyways, we're going to move on now to another topic that I wanted to talk about that we actually mentioned in the beginning
Which one?
with TikTok.
Oh, our
which
favorite.
Well, I like it. I know you're not a
I
big
know,
fan.
no, I do like honestly, I do go on it every night just to see what's
Okay,
happening.
me too.
You know,
Me too.
You
It's
gotta,
too much. It's a bit of an addiction. We need to take it easy with the TikTok. So, first of all, like how, in your view, has TikTok changed the music industry? I mean, I read that Warner Music signed a deal with TikTok to provide music to their platform for users to use their content.
Mhm.
Is this true?
It is true.
So, how do you think TikTok has
I think
changed the scenery?
it has, so a lot of artists who would not, you know, have the capability to reach audiences because you know there's about what 100,000 songs a day on Spotify, something like that. So it's very hard for an artist, I don't know, who's like, my dream is to be an artist and for everyone to hear my music and to relate to what I've been through. It used to be much more difficult, and now we have a platform that allows people to engage with the song and create a trend, and that creates stream and then gives the artist the boost that, you know, they never thought they would have so soon in their career.
It's true because I mean, I don't know.
I
if-
agree.
That's what I'm gonna say. I said I don't know if CK song. It's a great song. I love that song, and I think he's super talented. But I don't know if it would have been. I mean, it reached number 23, I think, on the U.S. Billboard Hot
Yes,
100, which is
yes.
huge for a first. It was his debut,
Exactly.
and I think it's a lot thanks to TikTok.
I am so obsessed. I want to chop your body. Somebody can she open her make I see you. You're my love, man, see. Let you make a bad man
Definitely. I think 100% TikTok was the biggest factor. I mean, it went viral because of a bootleg version, you know. It wasn't even someone remixed the song
Yeah.
and then people started like, you know, posting about the song and then we had to, you know, push the original song because that's the song.
That's true.
And before that though, we had done, I would say, a lot of remixes with the song, like in different territories, like with France, Germany, Italy, and to try and push the song prior to TikTok. So there was a lot of
see.
like strategy steps we took beforehand before it went on TikTok, but definitely TikTok was the platform that like, you know, pushed him further.
And now we have People. Is it by Libianca?
Yes, exactly.
Which is currently number 13 in
I know,
Nigeria.
I know. So, I mean, she also blew up on TikTok. She even made a bunch of remixes after, and one of them came from TikTok, from her posting a challenge, like, you know, when they do like half the screen and they say like
Like a duet.
exactly, and he duetted, and then everyone loved it, and then they recorded it, you know.
That's pretty cool. And she's from Cameroon, I think,
Yes,
if I'm not
exactly.
mistaken.
Yes.
I'm happy that artists from all over the continent are really blowing up. Like for me, this is like
I know.
super
It's
exciting.
about time.
It's about time.
It's taken a long
It's about
time, you
time.
know?
Finally. So I mean, I just want to share with our listeners the studies that have been done on TikTok. So, songs that trend on TikTok often end up charting in the US on the US Billboard Hot 100, which is a huge, huge feature, especially for non-American artists. According to this recent study by TikTok, 67% of the app's users are more likely to seek out songs on music streaming services after hearing them on TikTok, which is huge. So 67% of users will hear a song on TikTok, wonder, oh, what is this? And go check it out, which is so great for the song.
I know, I do the same thing
I mean,
too.
I do the same thing too. And then I do the challenge probably.
I know.
But have you heard of the Fleetwood Mac song Dreams?
Yes.
It came out in
I know.
1977.
But you can see even in like music data when we do like analysis on a weekly basis, on like the weekly basis of how like the Spotify charts are moving, you see a lot of old songs coming back in, right? In the
Yeah.
top like 200 above, like maybe they don't peak that much. And sometimes, you know, when you first see this, you would wonder like, why are there three songs from ages
From
ago
back in the day.
on? And then you realize, oh, TikTok. There was probably something to do with TikTok.
You know, today I saw this, but I don't know if it's because of TikTok. I was on the Nigeria Top 100, and number 87 was Brick and Lace's Love is Wicked.
God, really?
I think that's because of TikTok, because people have been using it a lot on TikTok. That song came out in 2007,
I know, I know.
and today it's number 83, which is not
But
bad.
even like, what's it called? Cupid's. Oh my God, I have to say that again.
Chokehold
Yes. No, what's the song?
of Gym Class Heroes.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Take a look at my girlfriend. She's the only one I got. Not much of a girlfriend. I never seem to get a lot.
Even
It's
Gym
Cupid's
Class
show.
Hero, like their songs are trending again.
Is it Take a Look
Yeah,
at My Girlfriend?
girlfriend, you know.
Oh, good time. I love that
Exactly.
song.
I know, me too.
We'll play you a little clip now, actually, when I edit this video. So, do labels now push for TikTok challenges or
So
trends?
that's the debate. I think you see a lot of times that you discover an artist on TikTok. I think when it first started, and like as a label, you were like running to sign them, and like, you know, oh, they're going to number 10, like blah blah. And then once they actually, like when it comes to terms and stuff, and you're about there, you see the track like start to fall, and then you realize the artist doesn't really have any other material. So you have to think now, okay, my terms need to change, my, you know, offering needs to change, and is this an artist that I want to take on and develop, you know?
I see.
So
So,
is,
what criteria do you look for that?
I think you would, I think there was a whole, like, obviously when TikTok first started, there was a whole, like, debate and, like, rush to, like, we need to sign this person, it's blowing up on TikTok, we need to sign this person. And a few decisions that have been made were not successful, and I'm sure some did kind of, like, pan off. But, like, in general, you gotta, TikTok or no TikTok, you're investing in an artist in the end. So you need to see if what he can produce and, you know, how he creatively is sonically, and
Of course, that's the most
you know,
important.
and as an artist,
And as
is
a
this,
performer on stage, he can go on
there's a
stage and be
lot,
horrible.
there's a lot of things, right? So you need to see, is this actually, like, TikTok can be the first steps for you to maybe like discover the talent, but then it's a whole question of like, okay, is this artist worth pursuing?
But do sometimes label pay TikTok creators to do challenges?
I think we, as a label, you work with a lot of influencers on TikTok, on Snapchat, on like whatever you can get to, like, you know, do like challenges and this and that. So yes, you do engage with influencers, but it's not like the main thing as much as it used to be.
Do you allow them to listen to the songs early before they're released?
Yes, you do. Like maybe a day or so earlier, you know, not too soon early.
Not too soon.
No, not too soon.
We don't want to
either,
leak
no.
anything, right?
Because in general, like the song sometimes isn't even ready until like a week before, you know.
So actually, as we're talking about TikTok, what's currently trending in Nigeria on TikTok is Davido's Unavailable Challenge. So as you all know, Nigerian artist Davido released his fourth studio album, Timeless, on March 31st. This marked his return to music after the tragic passing of his son last year, and his album has already started to do pretty well on the Nigerian charts. He has 3 songs in the top 20, Over Them, No Competition, and Feel. But why am I mentioning this now? It's because he has also gotten on the TikTok train and done his own challenge. So Soraya has refused to do the TikTok dance with me. So I will do it and check it out on our social media. And I hope all you, it's so easy. Anyone can easily join us. But it's pretty interesting to see someone as big as Davido now do his own, because you see artists do their own TikTok challenge.
Exactly. A lot of them are starting to because
Yeah.
they notice that,
Like they start it. It's not like it
yeah.
exists and then they
No,
hop on it.
exactly. Because, it creates like, despite TikTok being what it is, it creates like a community, right? Like everyone's dancing the same song and doing the same moves. Like you feel you're part
Yeah,
of
and
something.
everyone in the club, like in the club or at parties when it comes on, everybody does it.
Exactly. You feel you're part of something. So like every artist now
Absolutely.
knows that, if it's like a catchy song, like let's maybe do a challenge around it and like put it on TikTok and like engage with it and have like our fans like follow our trend and be
Yeah.
part of the movement.
It's pretty cool. What do labels look for before signing an artist? What are the like main criteria? Like if I want to be an artist, I want to be a singer.
Yeah.
What can I do for you to notice me?
So the first thing, you need to know how to sing
That's it. Yes,
properly.
yes. Well, I mean, let's talk about that. Do you
Yeah.
really need to know how to sing?
We'll get to, because see now, if you're like, I'm not gonna name some artists, but like if you're some artist who already has like a platform prior
Right.
to singing, if it's acting, entertainment, whatever it is, and you decide to do a song,
I mean, guys, I'm gonna say it because she probably can't say it, but Addison Rae can sing, and she's made a song.
yes.
So okay,
I mean, Paris Hilton has a song too.
Paris Hilton's song is a classic.
Even though the gods are crazy, even though the stars are blind, if you show me real love, baby, I'll show you mine.
Yeah, but
Stars Are Blind is a great song,
she
but I
still
see what
can-
you mean.
But you see,
I see what you mean because Kim Kardashian also made a song and that was terrible.
exactly, But then you have other artists who are not like one-off songs. They actually still have music going on, and their voice is not powerful, but it has a melody and it you can relate to it.
Yes.
It's more like mimicking singing rather than like
Or what if
singing.
they have a social media presence or they good performers?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that in that case, but you wouldn't have invested from the start with them. It would be
Right.
more that like they've got something going on and you're
Before.
like, she wants to sing, so like, all right, let's put her on. But I think you look at if they can sing and then you look also at their body of work. You can't come with no songs. Like we
Okay.
need to see what you've done, even if it hasn't had that many streams, but ideally we'd want to see some numbers behind it.
So the days of someone coming to audition don't exist
Not
anymore.
really, it's sad. But you know what actually, like
Because I think that's how Jay-Z found Rihanna.
exactly, but like Gail, like ABCDFU, they developed her from the very start of her career. They discovered her in a Nashville concert, and they stayed with her for such a long time and helped her as an artist and pushed her creatively as a label as support. But like she put in the work. But nowadays, we still do that. Like of course, like a lot of labels sign new artists. Like you do have to have some new to develop. But ideally, you'd want to have someone who has a body of work and who has some sort of social media presence and who has some sort of engagement with fans. Because the fans, and the community you create as an artist is what really also drives the music. Like you see the Taylor Swift fans, they're proper stans.
They are.
As soon as the album comes out,
Swifties are
Spotify
fans.
crashes.
So are the Bayhive.
I know you were
Excuse
going to
me.
say that, but I wanted
I'm like
to start
their
with
unofficial president in Nigeria
Exactly,
at this
you
point. So
are.
yeah, the Bayhive too.
I mean, look at the shows, the concert, how
yeah,
like
that's true.
So once you build that community with a fan base and you have such a loyal, followers that admire you and love your music and support you from the start to the end of your career, then if you see some sort of artist has that potential.
But I want to talk about another story around Warner Music.
Sure.
You recently bought the 300 label, is that
Yes, we
correct?
did.
So can you tell us a bit about that story?
Yeah, we bought 300. It's now part of the Elektra family at Warner Music, which is one of the labels. And we have on board Megan Thee Stallion, Young Thug,
One of my favorite artists, by the way. Just saying.
Gunna. It's had a bit of its roller coaster.
Yeah, so how did you guys deal with this? Because the three artists you just mentioned, Megan Thee Stallion, Gunna, and Young Thug, all three have had legal troubles.
Yes,
Two of them were in jail. One
Yes.
of them still is.
I know.
How did you deal with that?
I mean, as a label, like, there's so much you can do and there's so much you can't do, right? Like, you can help with the lawyers and help, see what way we can work around this and see if there's maybe any, like, music you can work with while they're in, serving time or but I think it's common, right? Like when you take on board an artist or like a roster of artists, like every artist comes with their baggage and this happened to
Is
be
it a decision that Warner Music regrets?
I can't comment. But no, I don't think so. No, no. Because we've got some good music
I
out
mean,
of it. We've
they're
got a
big
good
people, they're
catalog,
quite talented,
you
and
know, free Thug, free YSL.
yeah. So actually, Soraya, before we wrap up, can you tell me about some label anecdotes, like some stories or things that you went through personally or that the label went through regarding artists that like might surprise people?
I mean, I don't think there's anything as surprising. Obviously, like,
Because you must deal with a lot of things.
I mean, artists have a lot of demands, some of them, you know?
All right.
So, like,
Okay,
but it
what I
depends
love this
artist to
question. What
artist.
are some crazy celebrity demands? Without mentioning names, because I won't make you do
I'm
that.
trying to think, but I don't know, like, food like requirements being a bit too like all over the place, you know, like can't record if I don't have this and that.
Like what?
I'm just like a fruit platter, you know, the fruit needs to
Okay.
be cut. It can't be like in the
It
bowl.
can be like a fruit
It
bowl.
can't. No, it needs to be like fresh platter fruit, you know. And the crew need one too, so that's two
Yeah, and
platters.
it has to be a fresh platter. They won't let you run
No,
down
no,
to
no.
Sainsbury's and buy the portion already
No.
cut.
But I think like the most things you experience with artists in like which is not maybe shocking, I think every person has this. It's like a lot of times they have like the power that I don't want to do it. You know, they can commit to something and they just like
But there must be a contract for that.
yes, but when you're dealing with big artists and then they
Yeah.
wake up and they're like, I don't want to do this performance like on live TV today, like or in 2 days and they don't give such short notice. It's like I'm not feeling it, like I want to focus on something else and you gotta pull out of shows and stuff and it's kind of beyond your control, you know?
So I love him. But this summer I had tickets to Wireless in London, and one of the reasons I went that day was to see Burna Boy, and he canceled that same day.
What was his reason?
I still don't know. Do you have an answer for me?
No, I don't.
It's
Probably
okay.
not in the mood.
It's sad. It probably well. It's sad for the fans,
Of
but I
course
guess
it
it
is.
happens.
Of course it is. But I think, you know, at the end of the day, people forget that artists are just like people. Like, yes, they do
Yeah.
have a fan base that they need to like commit to and like, you know, be there for, but they also have their feelings, their mood swings, their emotions. So when you're working with an artist, you're working with a person. And it's like some days I wake up and I'm like, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to see anyone. I don't feel like talking to anyone. I want to lay in bed or I want to scroll on my phone or like just work out or do something for me. And with an artist, sometimes when they've got really packed schedules, especially when it comes to promo time,
Right.
they get exhausted, they get sick, they get drained out, and sometimes they're like, I don't want to do it. And you obviously have commitment with third parties where you're like, you can't get out of it. Like we said, you're doing it. You're all over the, you know.
The promo people have promoted
But then
it.
I think those parties also expect it sometimes that like with
Oh.
some artists, they could be like, oh, he pulled out again, like clearly. Because they've got, you know, their ups and downs. And as a label, and if you work directly with an artist as like their manager or like their close like core team, you got to sometimes be like, okay, you know, we slowed down here, but
Has there ever been a demand the label has said no to?
ooh, yeah, for sure.
Can you tell us?
Not really. They're quite controversial.
Okay. So I'll let you guys use your imagination.
But yeah, we do say no to many things.
But I'm sure you
know?
have a lot of other demands. I mean,
Yeah. Crazy demands, you know.
how fun. What a fun world to be in,
It is.
actually.
It's
It
very
must be exciting.
It's very exciting, and you know the industry is moving very quickly, and there's always like, there's always like, music always like from the start of this when I joined Warner and even before, like it makes you feel good. You know, if you're in a sad mood, you can feel better. If you want to feel
Absolutely.
sadder, you can feel sadder.
Sadder.
Like you know, if you want to
If you're angry, you can let it out.
you have it's expressed different emotions, different, you know, times of your lives as well, different journeys, different songs relate to you. And the process from inside is so like, you know, it's creatively like engaging and stimulating and like there's always something new.
Well, thank you so much for joining me
Of
today. And when
course.
you come
Thanks
back
for
to
having me,
Lagos, please
Tatiana.
bring one of your friends, one
I
of your
will.
friends you've
I will
mentioned. It will
bring
be a
some
pleasure to
of the
have them on
friends.
some of
Definitely.
the
They
friends,
would
some of
love
the
that.
roster. Anyways, guys, thank you so much again for tuning in today for our discussion about the business of music. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.